Hello. Let me show you a problem with my Evo. There's no gauges. We're not running any gauges right now, but we have some. We have a wideband sensor, AFR gauge, and a boost gauge. Today, we're just doing the boost. We got some JRP, which they're based in Queensland, which is sick. They change colors, they have buttons. Apparently they're easy to install, which I'm about. We got a whole bunch of stuff. Let's install it. We got some eBay gauge pods. These go on the A-pillar. I got 2 of these. It's just a cheap, I don't know, we'll see how we go. We'll mount them up there, and if we hate it, we'll do something else, but that's what we're running for now. Ooh. It's pretty clean. It should look nice. I don't know. Everyone does AEM, but it's kind of boring and it's red only. These ones you can change into like 900 million different colors. So JRP, I'll link it below. Let's install it and see how it goes. Alright, this is what we got relating to the boost gauge. The boost gauge itself comes in a pod. We don't obviously need that. This fits in there quite snug, so we should be able to make that work. And I think that's going to look pretty damn clean, hopefully. We've got the sensor itself, so we'll have to run the vacuum to that. This is a button to put somewhere so we can change the settings. Power wire, red's obviously positive, black's negative. I believe white is the ignition and yellow is for illumination. So ignition wire will probably run to the cigarette lighter, but I'm not sure yet what to do with the yellow one. I'll work that out. And then this is just another power wire, so we can daisy chain power from this gauge to the AFR gauge when we put it next to it. It just makes it a lot easier. For power itself, it's you plug that into your fuse box and then you run your power to that. It's just a nice way of having your power, it's tidy, and it'll be on a fuse, so that'll be good. Let's work out what we're going to do with this thing. We'll have to disconnect the battery first. In regards to where we're actually going to tee, they've provided a T-piece, which is super helpful. I'd say some people tap it in at the fuel regulator hose, which is that right there on an Evo, but I think we might do it on the blow-off valve recirc line, which is this one, runs all the way down. So we'll probably tap it in right there just before the inlet manifold, and then we'll just run it. I think there might be a hole in the firewall up there, but if not, we'll have to run it down, duck it up through here, run through the wheel well and back in the cabin that way. I'm not sure whether this will be long enough to do that. Let's go get some more. I'm hoping we can just go from there, in, and done. Probably actually mount that. That cable's quite long, so we'll probably mount this in the firewall somewhere, and then we'll run this inside because that's pretty small. That's the plan. I don't know where to start. Where should I start? I'm going to start by working out what to connect this yellow wire to. So something that dims when we turn the lights on. What dims? The cluster. Could use climate control. Maybe we'll use the climate control lights. Maybe we'll tap into that. Because if we... I don't think that... Where's my keys? So that has power. So we can run the cigarette lighter for power. And we can probably run to that, because I don't think that has a lighter, does it? I don't know if there's meant to be a light around there, but definitely a light there. The clock just dims because of how much power those are drawing. If I pull these out, I might put the original bulbs back in, because to be honest, they're way too bright. The original bulbs are bright enough for that. And I do currently have a back light out for here on this side, so I'll probably potentially replace that now. Because the Illumo LEDs for the cluster fit like shit. So do the eBay ones that I got. If you know any LED lights that fit the back of an Evo cluster that are actually bright and they fit in the little terminals properly, hit me up, because so far I'm 0 for 2. The other thing too, I'm thinking with that little button, we could either mount it out the side of the gauge pod, or I have this little thing down here left over from the cruise control, so I'm thinking about just pulling that out, what comes out, and putting that little button in there. I feel like that'd be pretty cool, little neat, little get up, little button down here, little gauge here. I feel like that'd be dope. There is a grommet down here. We're running the old freaking cable tie cable to the end of a screwy to poke it through the hole. So let's see if we can see it on the other end. Please, please, please. Oh, let's go. Oh, that's the screwdriver. Oh, why is there duct tape there? What the fuck is that shit? I've got the sensor wire run through into the cabin. If you don't have a plug there, mine was for cruise control. You, as I said, run it up through here, follow this, probably take your wheel off, go through the wheel well, and in that way. Now let's put this T-piece in. This isn't very long, so definitely gonna have to mount the sensor somewhere close over here, because we are gonna tee this piece in on that hose right there, which is the recirc line for the blow-off valve. So I'm gonna pull that off and tee that in, and then mount the sensor up in friggin' there somewhere. That's what we're running. These cable ties might be a little big, but that's all we've got, so should be okay. This is pretty tight. I had to use a bit of heat to get that on. Hopefully it doesn't leak, but we're doing another boost leak test soon, so we'll shortly know if it does, but that should be okay. And that's the reason why I didn't want to put it in the fuel regulator hose, which is that one with that little shield on it. Just in case it is leaking, I feel like a recirc line for the blow-off valve is a lot less important than fuel stuff. We don't want to lean out over something as dumb as this. So that's why I'm putting it over there. Over there. Alright, we got that. We got the vacuum line in, so we're gonna have to run this vacuum line into that sensor and mount it up out of the way over there somewhere, and then we'll run all this extra wire through. I'm glad there's heaps, it's very helpful. We'll run it underneath and tuck it away under the dash. That's a friggin' moth. What you doing? Get out of here, boy. Mounting the sensor up in here on the AC condenser line. I believe these stay cold, so shouldn't really have much of a problem with heat or anything there. It's kind of out of the way. Cable tie there and there just to hold the hose. They're not tight, they're just so it doesn't flop around in there. That should work. I've never done a boost gauge before, so by all means I'm not an expert, as fucking per usual on everything I do in this car. Hopefully we get everything right. So far pretty easy, but vacuum is not very hard to deal with, so friggin' lost down here, bro. Start running these wires, I reckon. Probably pull the pillar off and mount the gauge too, just so then we can know what we're running to. Sick. I'm excited, this is gonna be sick. I want to gauge it. I've had these here for friggin' months. And now we're getting around to it, it's very exciting. Pulled the A-pillar cover out. Found the microphone for the stereo, which I always wondered where it was. It's just chilling behind there. It's interesting. That's the wire for the Mitsubishi friggin' help little thing that was up there. That's getting deleted because it doesn't have a cover on it, so it's just that, and it's gross and empty, so now it's gone. So I gotta find a little sticker or something. Get it out. I'm just trying to work out where to run the illumination. Apparently most people run it off the dimmer. There's a dimmer switch. I don't have a dimmer switch. I don't know if that's a US thing, but there's meant to be a friggin' dimmer switch there. I know my Evo 7 had it, you know, the little wheel that turns down your interior lights. I don't have that, so I don't know if that's just an ADM thing or it's been deleted for this stupid cruise control thing that I freaking hate. This is an eBay part. It actually fits pretty well. It clips over the top. A little bit of a gap there, but it has double-sided tape along there, so when we double-sided tape it should be pretty cool actually. I was kind of wish it was grey to match, but can't have everything unfortunately. Got a little button mounted. I've been wondering for ages what I was gonna put there instead of the cruise control thing, but that works. That's gonna be cool. And since we'll have an AFR gauge, we can either potentially mount the button for that one there if we want. That one button might even control both of them. I don't know, we'll have to find that out when we put the other one in, but that's sick for now. I really like that. That's cool. It's the little things, you know. Alright, so looking at that fuse panel, number 10, there's nothing in it. There is a 10 amp in there though. about there. So we're going to pull that out and use that one for our power. As for earth and the other two, I'm not sure. Ideally we can find somewhere around here for both of these, otherwise we're going to have to strip this whole thing back. So I had to do a little bit of research into what to tap into. It's killing me that there's no dimmer switch here. If there was a dimmer switch here, this would be so freaking easy, but there's not. If that's not absolute bloody shambles, then I don't know what is. We found another microphone. So is this fucking stereo running this one? Or is it running this one? What the hell? Why are there two microphones? I'll work out which one's plugged in. I think it's the one that's behind the head unit. No wonder it's impossible to talk on this thing. What? I don't understand why people do this. Like, it's not that hard to mount it somewhere. That's gross. That's shambles. That's making me sad. But the update is, instead of running power through the fuse box, I think we're going to tap into the stereo harness because it has all the 4 wires we need in one place, and that will be so much easier. If I can figure out the absolute shambles that's behind it, I need to tidy this up a bit because it's kind of making me want to kill myself. So this has been a bit of a challenge. The wiring behind here was an absolute nightmare, so it's been a couple of hours of messing around trying to work it out. These are the 4 wires that we have to join. These run to this connector up here to plug into the back of the boost gauge. So we've got red is power, black is ground obviously, the white wire runs to ignition or accessories, and the yellow wire is for illumination. So I was stuck on most of them. I ended up working out that the power wire out of the plug has been separated back further to run separately into the head unit plug. So we found power, that's cool. The accessories one, on the wiring diagram for the Evo it says it's yellow blue. We did eventually work out that it is just blue. So if I stick this in this one, we have nothing, but when I turn accessories on, we have lights. Alright, so that's accessories. And then we worked out that the illumination wire is meant to be black and yellow. There's no black and yellow wire in here, but there is a green and white one that if we stick in there, and then I turn the lights off, so that has to be our illumination. So lights off, lights on. So I don't know if Evos in the States are different. I assume that's most of the wiring diagrams that I'm reading, but we worked it out. So now we've gotta tap these 4 wires in, and then honestly that will be the hardest part. It took me a while to work out. Wiring is not my strong suit, but we're getting there. Alright, we got our wiring all connected. Still shambles. Honestly, my earth isn't the best. That's it there, but let's just see what happens. First test. I'll just plug the battery back in. Let's see what happens. Oh, yes. She works, boys. That's so sick. That's gonna look clean as just chilling over there, hey. I wonder if the illumination works. I don't know if it's meant to change colors, but yeah, it does, it dims. That was chaotic, kind of. We worked it out. Illumination works, it works, and now I just got to put all the stereo back in there, mount the gauge properly, plug the button in. We're close. This has taken a few hours, but mostly just because the wiring colors were different, and instead of just getting a test light out like I should have done, I just tried googling it for like an hour and reading 15-year-old forum posts. I do this every time. I got to remember that I have a test light, and I kind of know how to use it now, so I need to just get on that instead of seeing what other people have done, because most of the time it's different. Anyway, we're on. I'm gonna put this back together, mount it, and let's see how it looks. We've got our 3 wires here ready to go. One runs to the button just there, one runs to the sensor, and one runs to the power and everything else. Now what we really need to do is plug these in, mount the little gauge down there in this thing, and then put that thing up there. and then we're done. Let's go. She works. Don't worry about that making sword noises. That's mad. We got our little button down here which works. I'm gonna have to go through the book and work out exactly how to set everything, but I assume that's max boost. These go for £30 apparently. Given this a stock, that's going to be plenty. That's mad. We've got a bit of temporary wiring happening here, and this pillar's not on properly because you prick. They're a real pain in the ass, and I'm going to be pulling that off shortly again anyway to put the AFR one up here. So I got another one of these mount things. It's slightly not centered, which is pissing me off, but it's really quite tight in there, so I might have to work out how to get it off. But that's fantastic. The only thing left to do now is to go for a drive and see if it actually reads. I'm pretty stoked on that. I reckon that's sick. Shout out to Joss Race Parts, Queensland. Let's go. I just went for a little drive. It definitely works. It's a bit hard to film, obviously. So I'm gonna get Jess to help me tomorrow film a little video. So, see you tomorrow.